Morning, everybody. Welcome to the Daily Digest with Jimi Disu. I'm sorry I was absent yesterday. There was a call of duty for me. As was it yesterday I was absent? Yesterday was Wednesday, yes. Call of duty for me as a grandpa. I had to go and get something done. Okay, but we thank God for his mercies. Right, today I scheduled, like I think I told you earlier in the week, I scheduled for us to have a talk about education and the challenges that we face. Now, challenges that we face now, given the circumstances of what we have in front of us, the economic situation and so on and so forth. I wonder now if we did a census. Just 1 minute, please. It's a technical thing. 1 minute. Sorry, yes, I had to bring down the music. Yeah, so I'm wondering how many of you have actually paid school fees? How many of you have taken out time to decide? Well, it's a bit too late by now. You should have decided what school you want your children to attend and why. But I felt that, well, it's never too late. Some of you maybe haven't taken the decision, want to do everything. And generally, we need to worry about the state of education in the country, given all these things. Even if we sat for 6 hours with Rhoda Odigbo, who is a curriculum specialist. Did I get that right?
Correct.
And who curriculum, and therefore is a specialist in education. If I sat with her, for 6-7 hours, we'd never go through it. But the least we can do is to set you thinking, which is what I usually try to achieve with my programs. Morning, Rhoda, how are you?
I'm fine.
I haven't seen you for almost about a year now.
It's almost a year.
Almost about a year. Who is dodging who now? Let's see.
I don't think we're judging.
Or is it a sign of the times?
It's a sign of the times.
It's a sign of the times. How are you? It's nice for you to be here. I appreciate anybody who takes that time to come to the studio these days because transportation is something else.
Agreed.
Would you believe to take from where you're coming from to take a Bolt, whatever, it costs close to about 6,000. From the same neighborhood that we're in. And so go be about 12,000. So if you wanted to come here, so if you wanted to pay you for your transportation, I'll be paying you about 50K. Anyway, thanks. Okay, so let's see if we can rush through it and just stimulate people's thoughts. The first thing, though, is educational generally. What are the challenges that we have now in terms of it as not the curriculum side of things, but as a business? If it's government schools, fine, that is free. But educationally, private schools, for example, what are the challenges in there?
There are a number of challenges. I think one of the top ones is really the cost of managing the institution. So that's operations cost.
Wow.
We just talked about petrol.
Yeah.
In this case, to keep power on.
Yeah.
And not just that, it's power on in terms of, so for states like Lagos State, and where we now have all the bands sort of operationally running, to keep your band A, if you're within the band A, bracket, it's almost like 1,000 naira per hour. That's how much it costs. And please correct me if I'm wrong, listeners.
No, I'm on band A, so I know what it's like.
And
in the same neighborhood.
Exactly. So imagine running 1,000 naira every hour for 10 hours, maybe minimum, and that comes to 10,000 naira every day, which comes to times whatever it is, and that's just that you have power on. It almost feels as though that it's cheaper to have diesel running.
It's probably different, better to have solar.
It's almost, So that operations with power, with people, again, you have the people side of things, that is human resource, all of the various salaries that you have to pay.
Because you can't wait for the government's minimum wage to determine if you want to keep your business going.
No, you can't. Then there's the institute, the building, the materials. So there's materials, the repairs, there's maintenance, there's, everything that really a child needs when they walk in. So they need the room, they need the teacher, they need the books, they need the chairs.
Wow.
All of these things are cost. Now, some of them are fixed over a number of times, but there's depreciation. And then there's security. There is, all the paraphernalia that comes with schools these days to keep security going. So operationally, it's very expensive for schools. And don't forget that the inflation is not always proportional to what people are able to give you.
But a lot of incomes are stagnant or even nosediving.
Absolutely. I mean, I was talking to my children's teachers, and I was like, your school is fortunate. You guys have a waiting list. And the first thing both teachers said to me was, I wish it was the same for our salaries.
To our salaries.
So see that it is not matching up.
There's a school with a waiting list?
Oh, yes.
Wow.
And the reason why is because there's another set of schools within the same competition bracket that went really up high and increased their school fees in ways that those parents there didn't think they could continue. So this was the next best bet.
You remember you and I had a discussion some years back about the most expensive school not necessarily being the best school.
That's correct.
You remember we did a session on advising parents on how to choose a school for your children, and to say that usually for parents' pride. Oh, if you want to know how much I pay in school fees, it might not necessarily be the best school to send the child to.
Expensive does not always translate to the best.
Yes. And location too doesn't. As if the fact that the school is in Lekki or is in Ikoyi, it doesn't give you any guarantees.
Jimmy, I've been to a school in Igbogbo.
Yes.
Look, that school knows what they're doing.
But look, if you have, we have a competition here. We have this debate competition that we have here. You need to see where some of the students are coming from, even from public schools.
Absolutely.
I think that parents need to do a real rethink about their attitude towards children's. Not just to turn up and say, "Oh, I want the best for my child." The best for your child doesn't have to be the most expensive.
Exactly.
In fact, in some cases, if you think it out properly, some of the best things for your children is to put their feet to the fire.
That's right.
Let them get a reality check early enough. So what about now? Do you have an idea of how schools are faring with school fees compliance?
I mean, so what I know that schools are beginning to do, initially you have, you must pay at the beginning of the year in this, so we only take 3 terms of payment. So that means they're paying per term. But schools have opened that up. So they've opened that up to say, you know what, you can do a monthly payment.
Monthly payment.
You can do you can do a scheduled payment. In fact, some have made it so fluid that if it's different, depending on how difficult it is and depending on how the kind of connection they have with the parents. Say again, you have to be the right parent. And with the right mindset.
Yes.
And show that sense of accountability and transparency. And schools won't just open up that trust to you to say, okay, we're going to schedule your payment over 8 months. They can you could only have been that client. So there's a role that the parent needs to play.
Or if you're somebody who, at a particular time of the year, there's
you have that
rent, it could be from anything.
Some parents have seasonal businesses. So again, you have to be that parent. You have to show that transparency. You have to, for that trust to be there.
So you can do book me down with
yes,
now.
You can actually. So what schools tend to do now is at the beginning of the year, there's a percentage that they're expecting of you to do, separate from the books which your children have to pay for. So you pay for the books, and then there's a percentage that they place that you have to start with.
Are we likely to have a situation, for example, where a school could say, okay, you know what, we'll supply you the books, not to take away, not for you to own, but for the period your child is in school, you can use the books and return them. You pay a kind of deposit.
Absolutely.
So if they're damaged or whatever. So in which case, you don't have to go about run into the bookshop and buying books, things like that.
Correct. I mean,
it happens.
Yes, even in my kids' school, the school they were before where they currently are, where they did their primary school. It was rent. So you rent books. The only thing kind of books that was you needed to buy the consumable ones, like the workbooks. And those ones naturally come cheaper because they don't need to, because they're consumable. The paper quality is lighter and all. So that is almost always designed cheaper. But the textbooks were all rented. So they had, schedules, and you had to pay a percentage of what that the school had marked it for.
So if a parent finds, I think parents also need to be encouraged to take a reality check.
I agree.
You don't turn yourself into a complete beggar just because you want your children to meet up. I see a lot of that. Rhoda, I'll tell you this. I've gotten to understand that there are some public schools that you can get by with good support. Is that true?
That is true. And on the side of the public schools, it's conditional. You would have to be careful. Again, the policy or the expectation is that school is not far from home. So usually in most states in the country, they would rather place your child in a school that is near home. Now that might pose a problem to you because what I know from the public education spaces, it depends on who the school leader is. So the school leadership plays a significant role in what that school is. So if your head teacher is or your principal is not that kind of, it's not really a thoroughbred professional, is not interested in their leadership and their development, you might find that you're in a school where the head teacher or principal is a politician.
Well, I give you a tip that I had to go through one time way back when I was raising kids that I think is relevant. If you put your eyes close, if you keep your ears close to the wall, there are certain schools in Lagos State that have quote and unquote preferential treatment because that's where a lot of the civil servants have their children.
Correct.
Okay, so they tend to. So it's you have to actually. Would a consultant help in this instance?
So it's two pathways. The consultant can help if the school leader has sort of an arrangement with that consultant and is interested in their own leadership and school and development. But the consultant can help if the government is choosing to work in partnership with the consultant. That's not always the case because the government takes that from a larger scale perspective. So government will call a consultant will come in and it will spread across all schools. So that's the difference.
Is there any way, at least for all it's worth, is there any way we can call for government support, and in which manner would we be saying that government could help to support because when I think of these things, when I think of these things, I think mainly of the private schools. That's why with the public schools, I think the ship is a bit more steady because the government, of course, would absorb all that. Do you think we should be giving grants to schools or something?
I think all options
to keep them steady.
Yes, all to private schools.
Yes.
Oh yes. I mean, this happens in many parts of the world.
Yes.
It's not a new innovation. It's not something new. Yes. So schools should
give
be
them tax holidays.
Yes. So I have a friend, Larry, who works with low fee paying schools. She has within her network is about 750 low fee paying schools. What Larry is doing with those schools is the kind of thing the government can do. What's she doing? She's helping them with structure, helping them with operations, helping them with technical know-how, and all the school leaders within her network get training on how they manage their resources. And then how they also manage their parents and the relationships and what sort of structure will help them, to design like a strong school program. So yes, grants should be given, tax breaks should be given. It's interesting that tax breaks or whatever that conversion is given to students, right, to go to university.
Yes.
But I can tell you in Lagos State, for example,
of NEL fund.
the NEL fund. I can tell you in Lagos State, for example, the slow fee paying schools are accounting for a significant percentage of the children who our public schools cannot cater for.
Yeah.
And so they have a role to play. There are regulations, and then there's a grounds for bringing those regulations to make sure that the schools are operating in safe environments. Many times those schools are not operating in safe environments, but you have to think about what is safety. What are the safety clauses and what can they do? What are the things that we expect them to do in service of the children at the end of the day? It is in service of the children because we don't want our children to be out of school.
It's a pity. Our friend has left now. You remember our friend,
Yes.
our common friend. I
Yeah.
wish her well.
Yeah.
I wonder how come she didn't make the cabinet again. I wonder what happened. You don't know? Not to me. Yes, I know. It's a daily digest with Jimi Disu. I have Rhoda Digbo, and we're trying to talk about education. How to survive in these times, and we've to a large extent we've been looking at it from the business side of things. We'll soon take a break at 9:25, and when we come back, we'll now look at it from the personal side of things. The numbers to call 0201 2770 and then the female line 0201 465 7190. Tomorrow we are going to have open mic to discuss a few developments that we've had in the polity. The least of it being the letter that Chief Gani Adams wrote to the president this morning. It's quite significant, like I said, coming from the president's own backyard. And that things are now, like, I compare them, because why I said so come from the backyard is, I can imagine if don't say anything about this. If it was Hannity that wrote that letter, there would be so much coming from his own backyard. What it means is that the onion peel is coming off one by one. And if you're somebody who knows symbolic things, when the onion peel keeps coming up one by one day the onion would have disappeared. So we'll take some phone calls from you. And then on Saturday, we're going to do a tribute to a musician that I grew up to know as a young kid here. Most of you would know. And his name was Mr. Johnny Hastrop. And he died in the States sometime last week. And I said, here, I'm going to have Weye Gadelaja, called Lobito. Weye Gadelaja is one of our good old musicians, played tours all over the world way back in the 70s. And I'm also going to have Steve Black. And then hopefully I've been trying to get Uncle T Mac and see if we can get them to comment on this. So it's 9:22. Can I take one call? Yes, I can. Okay, that's called. There were about 3 calls and that's it. Can I take a call? Hello, good morning. Hello, morning.
Ibeto calling from Sulere.
Morning.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, I called just to reason with you about how you mentioned on not really sending children to high costly schools because we want to have the best for them.
Yes.
See, I tell you something. Ambode, his niece was a student of Kanko.
Okay.
You understand? My daughter, she was just a class or 2 classes above my daughter, first daughter, in that sense. So you can imagine Ambode as a governor then. He was a sitting governor then. But his niece was in that school. She was, if you see that girl, exactly, you know that blood does not lie, tell lies, exactly like Ambode. She was just like every other child, every other student in that school. Do you understand? So you people like that, you can say that they were, my child, she's not supposed to be in that school. You understand? She passed through what every other student, child was going through in that school. And you understand? So that's the point of, and that school, I tell you, that school, very good school. My 2 daughters passed through that school, and they came out, fantastically well.
Okay.
You understand? So that is the essence of what I reason with you in that line of point. You understand?
Okay.
So that's
all right. Thank you very much.
So much. Yeah.
But Kanko is a model college.
It's a model college. Yeah.
And I think they pay fees.
Yes,
So it's not a free paying school. Can we take one more call? No, we can't risk it. It's way past 9:24, and this thing will jump at us. So we'll just leave it. We'll take a short break now, and when we come back, we'll continue with our discussion with Radibo. So don't go away. We'll be right back.
Listening to your number 1 station for talk.
99.3 Nigeria Info.
99.3 Nigeria Info. Let's talk.
Trader, are you ready for the flight? Yeah. Maximize your gains day or night. The platform, HFM is the name. Trading with us is a brand new game. Come on. Feel alone, execution slow. Switch to HFM, watch your success grow. Higher leverage, tighter spreads and swap free. Got your back in this financial fight. Trade forex, commodities, indices, shares and more. Just come and see HFM online trading. Withdrawals, deposit done in a dash. Our execution too fast. HFM stands apart from the rest. HFM stands apart from the rest.
Pico, HFM finito, HFM is it. HFM na short platform, online trading, forex trading, any trading, HFM no delay.
Join HFM today. Visit www.hfm.com or download the HFM app on Google Play or App Store. HFM, online trading at its finest.
Are you a secondary school graduate seeking to build your future, or a professional looking to advance your career? Now University of Nigeria, Abuja bridges the gap. With over 90 undergraduate and postgraduate programs, we prepare you for real-world success. Be it landing the job of your dream or the promotion you desire. Achieve your career goals with Now University of Nigeria. Apply now at www.nowuniversity.edu.ng. For inquiries, contact 0806 602 7981.
Price of everything in the country just keeps going up.
That's not completely true, because the Samsung Blue Tax sale is here again. Simply walk into any accredited Samsung store, buy your Galaxy Z Fold 6, or you could trade in your old device and get your free double-door refrigerator that comes with 20 years warranty, digital inverter with voltage control and all-round cooling for maximum freshness. That's not all. There are discounts on the Samsung Galaxy A55, A15, and A05 series. As much as 70K off these devices. Offer starts from August 19th while stock lasts. Terms and conditions apply.
Imagine thinking you bought an unlimited data plan, but the next thing we hear is,
oh, this data has finished again.
Well, that's what happens when you don't buy a truly unlimited data plan.
Enjoy truly unlimited data with unlimited speed-based data plans from Airtel. Visit www.airtel.com.ng/HBB to buy now. Airtel, a reason to imagine.
Why do we love stories? Is it because we see ourselves reflected in the different characters? Or is it the unimagined worlds we may never be in but can experience for an hour or more? So intriguing that it leaves us spellbound. Is it the thrill, the tears, the emotions, the fears? Or is it just because we love the stories we've never felt before?
Find the stories you love on Netflix with plans starting from 2,200 Naira.
Is it okay to make fun of our tooth gap? Let's have a talk. Colgate makes your teeth so strong. Stop cover your mouth. Not to do younger with your smile. Brush your teeth with Colgate. Zero cavities and fresh breath. If you use a Colgate paste. Not to do younger with your smile. Brush your teeth with Colgate. Colgate, #1 oral care brand in the world.
Life is always full of wahala, but there is music, passion, feelings, and good vibes. Take a ride with InDrive app to get there on your own terms. You decide what your life will be full of and choose a fair price for this ride. InDrive, the InDrive online passenger transportation aggregator, is not a taxi service. Find more information at www.indrive.com.
I'm in love, Sonia tomato mix, stand up. Easy to open, easy to squeeze, easy to scoop and easy to stir.
Sonia tomato mix in a new stand-up pouch.
Start your day and have a good time.
Kivo Creamer.
And where you need to have the break time.
Kivo Creamer.
If not tea, Papa Garita.
Kivo Creamer. Kivo Creamer. Are you ready to ignite your career in the media industry? Wazobia Academy Spark program is back and better than ever. Registration opens Monday 15th July and closes September 24th. Physical classes holds 25th, 26th, and 27th of September. Spark 3.0 is offering 3 incredible courses running simultaneously: becoming an OAP, series writing, and video shooting and editing. 16,000 naira only for each course, covering both online learning and 3-day physical training. What are you waiting for? Don't miss out on this incredible opportunity to kickstart your career in the creative industry. Visit www.wazobiacademy.com/Spark 3.0 to register or send a WhatsApp message to 0908 826 5038 or call 0911 111 1221. Terms and conditions apply. Wazobia Academy. Learn and lead. We're back.
We're back.
We're back.
We're back.
We are back.
We're back on 99.3 Nigeria Info.
Welcome back.
Welcome back.
This is Daily Digest with Jimi Disu.
I'm ready. Welcome back to the Daily Digest with Jimi Disu. And I still have Rhoda Odigbo with me. And we've been looking at quite a number of things. In terms of percentages, I'm not going to hold you to those figures, but just an academic exercise. What percentage of parents do you think would find it difficult in these times to meet their educational obligations with the way things are now? I'd be toying, if you want to be generous, I'd be thinking 40, 45.
I would go a bit higher.
You go a bit higher
than
because
I think everyone is affected. I don't know if there's any...
Well, I think that the beneficiary of that would then be the public schools, because we'll expect a lot of people of influence now, now that going to private schools has become a capital project.
Yeah.
What you'll be having is we'll hope that they'll not pay attention as to what's going on in the public schools, which in itself is an irony, because when I was growing up, the public schools were better than the private schools.
Yes.
Ultimately. Okay, so I went to a private school, I'm proud of it, and so on and so forth. But when it came to things like common entrance and things like that, we got a whipping.
That's right.
We got
There's
a
still that.
whipping.
It's still quite competitive.
It is.
Because it's ultimately it's a game of numbers. Because if you think about the population of children in our public schools versus those in our private school, I mean, natural selection.
But why do I have an impression? Maybe because I haven't been a parent for so long, or, I haven't been a parent for so long. Do I tend to think that public schools, you can just wish them away? I mean, they're just not. You get very little from them. I'm sure it's not as bad as that.
No, of course it's not that bad. I think the conditions are what the issues are the conditions. So what you get in the private space is a lot more encompassing. So let's look at it this way. The future world of work demands a certain set of skills that is now going fast away from the memorization of content and then and more into a much more fluid, almost open, unknown fields, and that's what the private schools are doing quite well with. They're exploring a wide range of opportunities for the children. So you see that it's not just academics, because the truth is, education today is not only about academics. By academics, I mean the math, the English, the science. There's a universe of fields now. There's content creation, there is presentation, there's all that. There's artificial intelligence. There's a universe of STEAM and STEM, and what technology can bring. And everybody even knows. STEM, science, technology. Is that field? Is a field?
Oh, you know about it?
Yes.
Yeah. You just left school.
They know. No, but it's still a combination of subjects we've known, but now it's more about the practical ways those subjects are applicable to the real world.
Bluntly, are public schools up to scratch, generally?
because the conditions are not right. So they are not.
I see.
That's why we will say that. However, our public schools have teachers who are striving and doing great and wonderful things. I work in the public education, so I know.
And they get the work done.
Do they get it to the degree we want them to? No. Are the conditions right? No. So sometimes I use this clause of conditionality because it is important to have perspective. So what you don't want, you expect a goat to go and to eat meat. I mean, it doesn't. And I'm not using this analogy for human beings.
Yeah.
I'm just saying you're
not saying human beings are goats.
No, absolutely not. I would have never say that. But the well-being. Look, they are in our public schools. First, the teachers are met with so much minimal resources, a large number of children in the classroom, minimal training. I mean, you juxtapose that in the private schools. These teachers are getting trained all the time. I was in a school this holiday. They were trained from Monday to Friday. And then they have something called a community of practice, which means that they've said that in their school, our school is a learning community. So every week they meet together to brainstorm and talk about, some of the challenges they have, strengths that they have, how they can leverage on the resources that the schools have. This is the difference. And so that in private schools, they're able to open up that space, to try new things and then to help their teachers grow.
Okay, so again, let me toy with your brain a little bit. As a business, what is the future you see for private schools? Some of them are going to fold up, aren't they?
Jim.
Inevitably.
Jimmy.
They're folding up
They have already folded up. A lot of schools closed down this academic year.
Wow.
Yes. That is the truth.
Wow.
Every day in the community, in social media, because I'm part of a large community in social media, we were getting messages almost every single week of schools that are closed down. There's data that I have. I can't really, reach it now. But every week during the holiday, we're getting schools that are closing down. Private schools.
How do we survive that?
It's a problem. It's a problem because for every school that closes down is another set of children required to recycle into the remaining schools.
I think I don't know. I think that we're in much more dire straits than you and I can imagine.
Yes.
Maybe because we're gradually moving out of that bracket, we don't get to feel it. So what do we do? Yeah, the specialist. You talk to me.
I think the first thing is human parents must prioritize their well-being. And by that, you have to really jealous so that you don't go into a space of things that you cannot do.
That is very, very important.
Yes. You cannot do
very, very important. And I'm going to stress it because I do find people stress themselves. You want to wear rags. You want to kill yourself just because you think, quote and unquote, you want to have the best for your children. I think the best for your children are things that you're raising out, things that are practical so you don't put them under stress.
The best of your children is the connection you have with them. You see that bag, they don't need no bags. They don't need new shoes. Dreams. The dreams that are in a new bag are the same dreams that are in an old bag. The strides in a new shoe is the same stride in an old shoe. These are the conversations you have with your children. You want to build their confidence. You want to tell them as is. I remember growing up, at one point, my mother was very honest with us. And it helped. It did help. Because at that time, she let us all, but she came and said, I cannot do these things, but we can do these other things. And it was a careful conversation. And the conversation is, you need to let your children always know that you care and you care about them. And you will forever be their support.
Yeah, but I have a personal example. When I was raising my kids and things got pretty bad during the Abacha period, and the schools then, then things weren't thought out properly. If they're owing school fees, you tell them to go stand in the sun and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So I had to sit them down and tell them that this is what your dad has and this is what he doesn't have, and put them in the public school for 1 year. But guess what? Much as I was feeling bad, later in life when I spoke to them about it, it was their best experience.
Exactly. We're making too many assumptions on behalf of the children.
We make a lot of assumptions. They keep telling me that, look, Oga, stop lamenting about this thing. It was our best experience.
Exactly.
Just that 1 year. And
Jimmy,
so they were able to take a reality check.
The brain, the human brain is not fully developed until 25.
Oh, that reminds me. There's this controversy. I'm not talking about WAEC. I believe that if a 1-year-old child or an 81-year-old child man wants to write WAEC, he should be free to do so. If he passes, you give him certificate. But I'm one of those who believe that a child shouldn't go anywhere near university until he or she is 18.
I agree with you. I don't have a problem with that. The only thing is that we need to always have inclusive policies. By that, I mean, there will be children who can attempt WAEC way younger than that.
That's what I'm saying. If you can attempt it at 1 year old.
But the challenge I think we faced or continue to face in Nigeria, the criteria for that to come to that point is what is unclear. What does it mean for a 12-year-old to be able to be considered a genius? What is the policy that directs that? It should not be just open.
No, what I believe is, you see, Nigerians will always like to flow. We're too public minded. We like to show off with everything.
No.
There is no race. My own concern, I don't care what age you write WAEC. If I want to go back at 81 to write WAEC, so be it. And if I have a genius at 5, Shebi is to write exam. What is WAEC's business? Collect the money, let him write the exam. But I believe that university is set up for adults.
Absolutely.
It's your first attempt at adulthood.
Full independence.
Full independence. And I wonder why, because our universities, because of this lower age that they go in, now you find that universities having PTAs. They give them glorification. They don't call them PTAs, but they call them there's a word they use for it, but it's the parents. In universities abroad, they don't have any business with any parents.
In fact, you will take consent.
Yes.
To even talk about that.
Yes. I had a student, I had a son who went to school outside the country, and they wouldn't talk to me. Now me they pay.
Except he gives the consent.
Yes, I wanted to go behind. I wanted to go behind his back to find out. I ran into a brick wall.
Yeah.
Nigerians need to calm down. We need to take a reality check.
Jimmy, I was telling a group of school leaders that this is going to be a tough year for all of you. And let me say this: your kids, your students will come in stressed. Parents will be fighting. Children will be seeing it. So you're going to have to deal with the social and emotional well-being of students. Because they're not don't expect that it's going to just happen in a flash, because families are going through a lot.
And don't raise their hopes unduly. Don't protect them from the reality.
So well-being must be prioritized. Two things for me: well-being, safety, because the more you don't want to create a home and a space as a parent that the children will suffer from. You don't want that. So as much as possible, you want to control and manage your own or regulate your own emotions and theirs at the same time. You've got to find somewhere within. Otherwise, the rest of everything we're going to say will not work. You need a template of regulation to be able to manage these times. You haven't got to go in.
And of course, I think that you should make sure that there are no stray bullets. Just have the children you can afford.
Behave. Your behavior.
And behave yourself, yes.
Behave yourself. Manage expectations. Stop putting things that don't matter. Bags don't matter. Shoes don't matter. Clothes don't matter. These things don't matter. There's a reason why the children are going to school.
It skipped my mind. I was going to tell you that in the Daily Mail of about 3 weeks ago, just before the school year started, guess what? In the UK now, parents are now buying what they call seconds.
Yeah.
In terms of uniform. They are in the UK, they are buying what you call second hand.
Jimmy, there's nothing wrong.
There's nothing wrong. No, I'm just so that you can know that this thing is also
everywhere.
It's happening everywhere. They're buying seconds in shoes,
You
in whatever.
You should buy what you can
is
afford.
most important is for your child to have a reality check that this is what the world is going to be like, and stop protecting them from reality.
I will add that you expand your time with your children, expand their opportunities. There are so many opportunities within. If you have an internet and you have a phone, there are things you can do with your children on that device.
Yes.
So you prioritize that. If the school is not giving you the kind of learning you want your child to have, then go in and close the gap.
Going back to that age issue, there's also, you get a sense that some parents want to rush their children.
Yes.
Oh, they want them to be able to boast that they're geniuses.
They're also saving money.
At the child's expense. For example, I've stopped having guests to show off children that, my child at 14 did. You put them under so much pressure. What about this idea of, I believe very strongly that children, when it's holiday time, let them have a holiday.
Period.
And stop putting pressure on them to, I want to go to one school to learn this and to learn that. Give their brain a chance, for God's sake. These days I look at, if any child comes to meet me, that, Grandpa, come and help me with my homework. I'll take an excuse that I will run into me and run out of the house. The pressure is so much.
Yes.
And some are self-driven. I think we had a call there. Feta, help me look and see if you have some reactions you might want to read out. Just let me know.
All right. We have this one here. The person says, Uncle Jimmy, my son told me last night that only 12 pupils are in his class and they have only 2 arms. The school bus is virtually empty. My heart bleeds for teachers in private school.
Wow.
This is from Ayo.
So the school bus will soon be knocked out because the numbers will add
schools
up.
have closed the school service.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Yes.
No one is subscribing. And it makes sense. Why should you subscribe?
Yeah.
You need that money to pay school fees.
Put your child in a school where he doesn't need to take a school bus.
To feed.
This is the wrong
Food
time.
is expensive.
This is the wrong time to start. Thank God I've been there and done that. I feel sorry for the likes of Feta who are just starting. Okay, hello, good morning. Do you know this is an aside?
Hello?
Yes, hello.
Good morning, Uncle Jimmy.
Morning, sir.
Morning to your guest.
Good morning.
Morning.
Morning, ma. My name is Godwin, calling from Lakwa. Well, first of all, I want to congratulate you, your guest and yourself for this discussion this morning. From the first aspect, unfortunately, the people that are there in the governance today, they went through the normal process. Federal government, state government cared. But unfortunately today, haven't gotten there. What belongs to you and I, they have converted it to their own genealogical benefit. Children yet to be born, and they refuse to use it to bring what is supposed to be in the current reality for the children today. And as a result, it is difficult because they are there to maximize for themselves and generation yet to be born. It will be difficult for them to get the positive result, just like your guest is downloading now with you. If we have people like this madam there, who is as a minister or commissioner, definitely it will not be the same with what we are having today. Until we have leaders, not rulers, as we have today, that cares about humanity and the country, it will be difficult for us to arrive at the standard you are discussing. Otherwise, these are the reality. And the people that are there, they are not happy matter because of their personal benefit and generation yet to come.
Thank you very much, sir.
But may God bless you for the good work you are doing.
Amen, sir. God bless you too, sir. Hello, let's take another one. Hello, good morning. Hello, morning.
Good morning, Uncle JD.
Morning.
Good morning to your guest as well.
Good morning.
Uncle Jimmy, I just feel at present now, there's a need to curb the private schools.
To curb or call?
Curb.
Okay.
Exactly. Uncle Jimmy, they tell us to buy books that eventually the children will not use. Not only is this a merchant, honestly, not only is this a rip-off or a merchandise of some sort, my children's school, they told us that it's the people from the Ministry of Education in the public schools that will come and ascertain the school if it is worthy of, identification, like they should notify them and say, okay, they are certified. And so when they are coming, even if the schools are not up to standard, because something has reached the palm, you see them satisfying schools that are not yet or worthy to be certified. Uncle Jimmy, we will buy books that they will not use. You are bringing authors that that ordinarily cannot go to the market to see those books randomly on the shelf, all because you are trying to monopolize it. At the end of the day, those books will not be used. Who exactly, the education system has been undervalued and watered down. Who exactly is monitoring these things? Who exactly is putting checks and balances on these things? Thank you very much.
Also, you find that, I think that will stop anyway. When you want to say something?
No, she's raised a number of real issues that private schools have built and designed, and that should be tackled. I mean, it's two-pronged, because there is the private school space where why should you have textbooks that students make parents pay for textbooks that children will not use? Why? It's wrong. And on the side of the government, what is it that the government is? I know the departments, usually it's the quality assurance departments that are in charge of going into the schools to monitor and evaluate to ensure that their quality is really standardized. And the expectation is usually that when they come in, that students have resources to use. And so when they see those resources, they're not expecting it to be that it's a resource that will not be used. So if this private school is showcasing those resources at the expense of parents who are paying fees and paying those books, then by all means you should use them. And let's stop making it a dress rehearsal. And whilst of course the government tries to make it a dress, doesn't quite explain in full that their monitoring is going to be consistent to the point that they see that the students are actively using those books.
I was also going to say that in terms of, well, I'm using the word curriculum loosely, so if I get it wrong, please don't. Also, I think there's a need for the private schools to also have a realistic curriculum. This is not the time to say I want to teach children German, and you want to teach them some of the horse riding and some of these things that make life unbearable for the parent. Some people fall for it, so be it, but I think that they probably would now need to be a bit more realistic.
Yeah, absolutely, they should be. Yeah. There's no reason. I mean, around the world, if you think about it, we even teach too many subjects. And that's
you think so?
Yes, and I've done that analysis, but that's a different conversation.
Oh, yeah.
But there are core things that every child should know. There are 4 fields, and then 4 fields plus more. And so at the primary school, for example, if you focus on those 4 core subject areas and do all the other forms of integration, then you will see that you're doing much better. So you bring in technology so that children understand that, build their digital literacy skills. You also bring in presentations. You bring in case study scenarios. Those are the things that are real world issues.
I'm surprised that education has become almost like a science. When I was growing up in some of the schools, so I went to all these British schools, that's neither here nor there. It's because of where I was coming from. But when we were growing up, school was just
No, times have changed and we must respond.
Yes, I know.
We must respond. We must respond
to
this new age.
I tell you, Feta, I can't handle any child's homework now. 9:53, we got to go.
Oh, wow.
I didn't know. You have to come back. Oh,
I will.
She will come back. Rhoda will be back. I'm so sorry I got carried away. 9:53, we got to go. Usually by now I'll be out of here. So I'll be back again tomorrow. Like I said, we'll have an open mic tomorrow. So get your reactions ready. And it's straight business. No time for faffing around tomorrow. 1 minute and you're done. Okay? Thank you very much, Rhoda.
My pleasure.
God bless you. Thank you very much, Feta. And Feta, by the way, do you by any chance know?
Uncle Jimmy, yesterday was my birthday.
Oh, happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Oh, You shared. You're just a week late of my granddaughter. I have a granddaughter now. Yes, who is a week late of he's a week earlier than you.
Okay.
So what do I give you? I tell you to. You know what I'll do?
What?
I'll send you to Yunleke. Go and pick up a gift.
Aww.
You know the place now. Go and pick up.
Wait.
Yunleke's place now. You know where it is.
Okay.
Go and pick up a gift. I'll tell you where it is.
Okay. All right.
You know now. Why are you pretending not to know now? So go pick up something there, okay?
All
But
right,
what do you think is going to go on next when I leave?
It's What's Up, Lagos?
I'll see you all tomorrow.
99.3 Nigeria Info. We are more than just radio. Subscribe to our YouTube channel at Nigeria Info FM. Check us out on Facebook at Nigeria Info 99.3. Follow us on Twitter at Nigeria Info FM and on Instagram at Nigeria Info FM Lagos for live updates as it happens. 99.3 Nigeria Info. Let's talk.